Here I am on the very north coast of Lewis, bathed in sunshine, of course, because it's always sunny in Lewis, watching the waves. I'll see if I can show you my view right now. How beautiful is that? Just sitting watching the waves. Hopefully you managed to see that. And I'm not an expert with the videos yet. And I wanted to share a couple of thoughts around seeking and the things that get in the way of us seeking. And the night before last, I managed finally to see the Northern Lights, which is very cool. But I wanted to share a couple of thoughts around that process of getting to see them. So the first place I went, I didn't have a very good viewpoint, so I just couldn't see very well and was kind of almost pointing in the wrong direction. And I was thinking about the whole thing has been a bit of an analogy for me about seeking God and the things that get in the way of me seeking God. So sometimes I'm just in the wrong place, physically, emotionally, spiritually. I'm just not in the right place, and I don't position myself well to seek God. I don't have the expectation, but also sometimes I'm looking in the wrong place to meet with Him. So I moved, and then I was aware of there were so many other lights, man-made lights. So the lighthouse, which is a good thing, but definitely was a distraction when I was looking for the Northern Lights, and the street lights. And again, the street lights are great things, they're useful, but they're not helpful when you're trying to see the Northern Lights. And actually even the moon was incredibly bright, but it was not what I was looking for. And so they all became distractions and things that pulled me away from what I was looking for. And I don't know about you, but definitely distraction is something that gets in the way of me seeking God. And some of those things can be good things. And I can be distracted from seeking God with my whole heart by good things. They feel like worthy things, and they pull me off track sometimes. And then there was the timing. So some of the photos I saw were earlier on in the evening when I'd been busy doing something else, and so I didn't see the brightest bits of the Northern Lights that were available that night, either because I was too late, because I was busy doing something else, or actually I didn't wait long enough, because if I'd waited until the moon went down, again, I'd have seen some really bright, clear sightings of the Northern Lights, but I didn't wait long enough either. And I think that definitely applies to my seeking God, is that sometimes I don't wait long enough. I'm in and out and gone, and I don't linger in that space, but also I get busy with other things, and the time gets squeezed. And so the timing sometimes is an issue. And then there was the issue of the clouds along the horizon that actually diffused the light, and so I could see the Northern Lights, but they weren't as bright as they might have been because there were clouds that got in the way. And there are definitely things that get in the way for us when we're seeking God. There are obstructions, whether those are our own stuff or whether those are enemy obstructions, but there are things that get in the way. And then lastly, that whole thing about the waiting long enough. If I'd waited till the moon had gone down, it would have been like, I don't know, 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. But I decided that my bed was calling. And sometimes we are not prepared to pay the cost to seek God. And so there's a cost if we want to see God, if we want to meet with Him, and if we want the fullness of what He's prepared for us. And I was reading in Jeremiah this morning, in Jeremiah 29, I think it's verse 13, and it talks about there's a promise that if we seek him wholeheartedly, he will be found by us. And so I am determined not only to see the Northern Lights on a brighter night, or on a night where I can see them more brightly because I've been willing to pay the cost, but more to the point, I'm determined to seek God wholeheartedly and not allow obstructions or distractions or creature comforts to get in the way of all that he has for me, because I'm hungry for him. Those are my thoughts today. Blessings from the north coast of Lewis. Lots of love. Bye.